listening to Something Cheeky, a collection of podcasts where two sisters discuss TV, books, and movies with just enough irreverence and far too many pop culture references.
Welcome to Something Cheeky, where we discuss the TV series Vikings. I'm Nikki.
I'm Rosanna.
Well, I've watched the entire series. Rosanna has only watched up to what we're covering today, which is Season 1, Episode 5, Raid. In this episode, the Earl goes straight mean girls on Ragnar, and Rollo gets caught in the middle. Rosanna, what was your reaction to this episode?
All right, Nikki. I had two emotional reactions to this episode.
Okay.
One was irritation.
All right.
And one was apprehension.
Oh, about what?
Well, I got really angry at Earl Haraldson. Just pretty much the entire episode, I was just mad at him. Mm-hmm. And I'm very apprehensive about the steps that I can see Ragnar taking in sort of revenge, but sort of just like standing up for his family and himself and stuff. Because the Earl has a lot of people. A lot of, like, guards or whatever. And even though I have a lot of faith in Ragnar, I'm worried about him.
Yeah.
And this episode did not help.
He did have that look on his face at the end of the episode. Like, I'm doing something here.
Oh, yeah. He's gonna take some action. He's mad. Mm-hmm. And I don't blame him at all. But yeah. I'm worried about him.
Did you have a favorite quote from this episode?
The quote that I wrote down is when Floki's talking to Ragnar, and it's a really short one. He just says, "It's a trap for you, Ragnar." And in my head, this is what I hear. It's about to go down. Because Ragnar knows it's a trap. Floki, everybody knows it's a trap. Mm-hmm. But that is not at all stopping Ragnar from doing it. And I just feel like him just coming out and saying that things are changing. This is a turn. This is an important, it's like a pivotal moment where Ragnar's like, I know that's what's happening and I am still going to do it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, he had that look on his face like, duh. When Floki said it's a trap.
Well, and everybody is like, yeah, we know that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm. But that's what a good trap is. Something that should get the other person to go, even if they know it's bad.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, the Earl, whether you like him or don't like him, whether you think he's smart or dumb or whatever, he knew exactly where to hit Ragnar.
Ah.
I mean, he knew exactly, he's like, his brother is important to him no matter what. This is all I have to do is just go after him. And that's gonna take care of it. He knew that.
Do you think he knew Rollo was going to be loyal the entire time, even when he approached him at the wedding?
No, I don't think he did. And honestly, I didn't either.
Ah.
Because Rollo's so slimy that I just can't tell. I mean, like, you can tell in a scene where his loyalties lie, but it just feels like he's always on the brink of switching.
Oh, yeah.
Even though he hasn't, and he's proven so far that he's loyal to, now I'm going to say Ragnar, but we all know that I mean Lagertha. But he just seems like at any point he could switch loyalties based on what works for him. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. And Ragnar seems like the kind of brother where he's like, oh, okay. So they're a lot like Thor and Loki.
Okay, Avengers, yeah.
So Ragnar is like Thor, and Rollo is like Loki. Thor constantly defends Loki and helps him out, like when he's in a bind, and is always making excuses for him and protecting him and all that kind of stuff, even though Loki's like, doesn't really deserve it most of the time. And I think Ragnar always puts this familial relationship in front of everything. So even if Rollo does screw up or piss him off, he's like, no, he's my brother. I'm going to continue to stand up for him. And I just hope that that doesn't bite him in the butt.
Mm-hmm. I'm really glad that we don't have a relationship like Thor and Loki.
Totally.
I mean, you're betraying me all the time.
I know.
Whatever.
But you never stand up for me, so it's fine. And I wouldn't want anyone listening to think that I don't love Loki. I love Loki. I love Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Mm-hmm. He's one of my favorite characters from at least the Avengers movies, which I don't know if that makes me like a wannabe, you know, girl who... I don't read the comics. I don't even pretend to. I just watch the movies. But I think Tom Hiddleston as Loki is so good. He's so good.
I can never decide if my favorite villain is Tom Hiddleston as Loki or is it Andrew Scott is his name, who plays Moriarty on Sherlock?
Is that his name?
I think so.
Oh, he is such a good villain.
Yeah,
that
he's
guy
amazing.
plays Moriarty so beautifully.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Moriarty is a terrible, terrible person, but you just cannot help but like him.
Yeah, and he's so over the top, but it just works so well.
Yeah, it really, really does. He's so good.
I would love to see the two of them in something.
Yes.
Hiddleston and Andrew Scott, yeah.
You know, I actually, when I was getting ready to watch the most recent season of Sherlock, there was this rumor going around that there was, well, and also based on a little bit of information from his brother.
Mycroft.
Mycroft, thank you. So based on something that Mycroft sort of offhandedly said, there's this rumor going around that there's a third brother. And the rumor was that Tom Hiddleston was going to play him.
I heard about that.
And I was so excited. And then that's not what happened.
Yeah.
I won't say any more, just in case people haven't seen it and they're fans and they want to watch it. But Tom Hiddleston did not show up in Sherlock.
That's really unfortunate.
But I was totally behind it. Yeah, I was like, yeah, definitely. Let's bring that guy in.
Yeah.
So we would have had Moriarty in the same scene as Tom Hiddleston playing a Holmes brother, which would have been really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But, oh well.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I'll watch anything Tom Hiddleston's in anyway.
The Night Manager, so good.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
It's a little short show. I think there are only 6 episodes, maybe.
Uh-huh.
But it's got Hugh Laurie.
Mm-hmm.
Is this billionaire bad guy, and Hiddleston has to kind of infiltrate his operation.
That sounds awesome.
It wasn't out very long ago. I'll have to add a link
Cool.
to the site, too.
Awesome.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It is amazing.
Well, I like both of those actors, so
Yeah.
cool.
You're gonna hate Hugh Laurie after this.
Oh, well, you know, if he's playing house, how much more can you hate him?
That's true. He was so nice. He was so charismatic. Okay, we should get back to this
All right,
story.
back to the action of Vikings.
So, the very beginning of the episode, there was just one little couple-minute scene with the Earl and Siggy, and he's giving some sort of blessing on this new baby.
Right.
I was not sure he was going to give that child back to its mother.
Agreed.
He and Siggy both had this moment, and that made me feel bad for them.
Yeah.
I don't think they said how old their sons were. I feel like they were pretty young.
Well, yeah, they didn't really give much indication, so I don't know. But I wonder if they were younger than the daughter. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's what I imagine.
Because Siggy's not that old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could imagine her having probably even teenage sons, or maybe a little bit older than that. But not much. She's not very old. I don't know how old she's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I could see that they weren't very old. And that makes it even harder. It's not like they were
Yeah.
killed in battle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they would like to keep that baby.
Yeah, that whole description about how they were buried with their heads. That just
Yeah, that was
made me really
awful.
sad.
Me too.
I get wanting to disrespect the Earl. I mean, that's why they were killed in the first place, it sounds like.
Well, they did a good job.
Yeah, to do that to the corpse is very sad.
Yeah.
We get to the farm, and Athelstan and Ragnar are talking. So, in my notes, I started out writing Athelstan when I was talking about it, and that evolved into Apple Stand, and now I just write Apple whenever I'm referencing him. It's just Apple.
Great.
Yeah, it's perfect. Oi. So Athelstan wants to know if he's still a slave, and at first it sounds like Ragnar hasn't really decided until Athelstan makes him angry when he talks very cavalierly about what do your gods say.
Yeah.
Almost slightly patronizing, like you talk to a child. What is that a picture of? Tell me about the picture you drew, you know?
Really? I didn't get that from him.
I thought it was mostly innocent, but Ragnar did not take it that way at all.
I agree that Ragnar didn't take it that way, but I thought Athelstan actually was kind of interested. Maybe he didn't ask in an appropriate way, or maybe at an appropriate time. But I think he actually is interested in their history, and then we see that later when he's at Floki's and he's asking questions.
Yeah, there's some very interesting back and forths there.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I love that that scene stopped with him trying to decide how he was going to explain how the world was created. According to Christian
Yeah.
knowledge, yeah.
Why didn't he? I don't know.
I'm sure he felt they were just going to laugh at him, which they surely did if he did tell them that.
Well, but it's not like their story is that much better.
It's true.
So, but he was outnumbered.
He was. And he asked about Ragnarok, which shut everything down for a moment.
Yes, and I don't know what that means.
So Ragnarok is basically end times in Norse mythology.
Okay.
I think it's all these natural disasters happen. Some of the gods die or go away, and the world is covered in water. And then there's kind of a rebirth. The Norse mythology has kind of an Adam and Eve character.
Okay.
Or characters, a female and male who then repopulate the earth.
After Ragnarok?
Yes.
Okay. Huh, okay. I was afraid to look it up because I didn't know if I was going to get spoiled. So I just didn't look it up at all.
Mm-hmm. That's for the best, I think.
Huh, interesting. Okay. I feel like I should rewatch that scene just so I can see the reactions now that I know what it means.
Athelstan is explaining that Ragnar could beat him to death legally, which sounds a lot like exposition for us, which always kind of annoys me. Did not seem very natural. But it sounds like he doesn't want to escape. Why do you think he wants to stay? He doesn't explain why.
Because I don't think he has anywhere to go. Where would he go?
It's true.
And what would he do?
So there are a lot of little quick cuts to the Earl in this episode, and there's this one of him preparing for battle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was just Gabriel Byrne's acting or the directing or what, but there are some scenes where he seems like he's way overdoing it.
Yes, I agree with that.
It's just too much, and I'm gonna look into the distance and throw this sword into this scabbard and stalk off. But it was just very
like nobody can be that much of a drama queen all the time. Yeah. I mean, he's a super drama queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the character or really the way the actor's playing him. I'm really not.
Yeah.
Every time it cut to him again, I was like, okay, just hurry up and get back to the people I care about.
Oh, and they have the line of men that Bjorn notices after they shoot someone. So no one noticed 20 men lining up with horses. Horses are not silent on a beach until they actually killed someone.
Yeah.
And from their side, okay, I'm a man commanding whatever, a tiny little group of them, and I decide we're going to shoot someone, just one person, so then apparently everyone notices after that. Why am I waiting? Why are they just not killing people? Because that was their goal in the first place.
Yeah.
It's such a... I hate when directors use that sort of tactic.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh no, everyone's surprised. What a sneak attack. But they're just waiting for people to notice them.
Yeah.
Instead of just going in with their surprise. I mean, they have the element of surprise on their side. Why not use it?
Yeah, it's not a great scene.
Yeah. And the Earl even says some big line about, for a man who claims to be descended from the gods, blah, 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 blah. Has Ragnar ever claimed to be descended from the gods?
Well, I don't
think so.
think
Is this a story about him?
No. Why would he even say that? I
don't know.
He's just... I feel like maybe the people that are making the show are trying to put him in... They're trying to, like, line up the story to put him in a certain place or whatever. But I think it's messy. It's forced, I guess is the better word. They're really forcing it, and it doesn't feel authentic.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't like what they're doing with him at all.
And it all seems to be centered around the Earl.
Yeah.
Whenever this sort of thing happens.
Yeah, and I don't like the way they, I mean, and I guess maybe this is a character thing, but I don't like the way they have the Earl talk about Ragnar. I just don't think that the Earl knows Ragnar very well, except for just the couple of times that he's seen him at the thing. And I know Ragnar's probably not making a very good impression if that's the only time he ever sees him, is him complaining and saying, I don't want to do what you want me to do. But they just act like he knows him really well, but I don't think he does. So I think he's just talking out of his butt.
I always hated that expression. It just makes me think of, what's the Jim Carrey movie?
Ace Ventura?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of those movies.
Yeah.
They're so, I mean, they're funny, but they're so, like, tacky.
Such a vulgar way.
Yeah, Yeah. I mean, they had their moment, but I probably wouldn't watch them again.
I'm not really into the toilet humor kind of thing, so...
Yeah, I'm usually not. I don't know. It depends, but...
It really does depend, but I don't want it to be all about that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Not as lowbrow.
Yeah. Like, The Hangover had a lot of that kind of humor, but I thought The Hangover was really funny.
Yeah.
But I did not like the subsequent hangovers. I just liked the first one.
I never did see those.
I don't think that they were nearly as good as the first one.
Okay.
So there's my little recommendation for movies for you.
Don't watch this.
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciated that Lagertha gave Athelstan an axe. Mm-hmm. Even though he seemed slightly flustered about getting an axe.
Yeah.
Ragnar hears the screaming off in the distance very quietly, and it takes him a second to realize what it is. But man, he is on his feet as soon as he understands what's going on.
Yeah.
And then we get to see him fight, which I really enjoy.
He's very good.
He's so fast.
He is fast.
Just shooting all over the place.
I didn't want him to have to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to come up again in my top 3, but it just was frustrating that he had, that had to happen. That you know, that he had to protect his, I guess, his village? Was it a village? Or just like a small area of, like a neighborhood? I don't know what to call this area. I'm just mad he had to, I'm just mad he had to protect his neighborhood.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Ragnar is not as invincible as he was when he's against the Vikings. He's not as invincible as he was against the Latvians and the pilot, where he did not have a scratch on him, just other people's blood.
Yeah, well, apparently these people he was fighting were trained similarly. Similarly.
When Ragnar sent his family out underneath the house and away, did you think it was his last stand? Or were you sure he was gonna be fine?
Okay, so I didn't think Ragnar was gonna die, because it's his show.
It's called Vikings, not Ragnar.
Okay, but like 5 episodes in, we're not gonna lose Ragnar.
Well, it could be like Game of Thrones.
Okay, well that worries me now that you said that. So thanks.
I'm just saying, there's precedent for it in popular television.
So for how badly he was injured, I thought he was going to get captured. I thought they were going to take him. And when he got up and started fighting, I was like, oh, good job, you. I can't believe he got away. I really was surprised that he got away. I was happy. I was also very, very happy that his family got away.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't believe he jumped up and just went after it.
He was obviously still very seriously injured, but managed to
He must have been really badly injured, because it seemed to take him a long time to recover. Mm-hmm. And these are guys that they get hurt and they keep going. And so it must have been pretty significant injury.
Mm-hmm. When Lagertha was leading the family away, I started to wonder if she was teaching Gyda to fight the way that Ragnar's teaching Bjorn to fight.
Yeah.
We've gotten no evidence of that, but seems only fair.
And what we've seen of Lagertha, it is important to her for a woman not to rely on a man for protection. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense that she would teach her daughter how to protect herself. Especially, and this is awful, but especially now that she's getting older and becoming more womanly and developing and getting to that, teenage stage where it's going to be even more likely that she could be a victim. Lagertha's like, that's not going to happen to you. I could totally see her teaching her how to protect herself, for sure.
I loved when Ragnar just leapt onto the horse and started galloping away. I imagined some sort of, they kept shooting back from Ragnar on the horse to the family in the boat. I kept imagining him getting near and doing some majestic leap into the water off the horse and landing in the boat.
Landing in the boat? Capsize, sorry.
Yeah. It didn't happen, but I really wanted it to.
That's funny.
Yeah, it would have been very, very nice.
Also, can I just say, okay, Earl Haraldson, I don't know if he's the dummy or if his crew is the dummy or if they're all a bunch of dummies, but you're going in looking for somebody and you don't go around the back of their house to see if there's a boat. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they didn't, because I'm glad they got away, but that doesn't occur to you that this is a Viking village that everybody boats and you don't go look for a boat? Mm-hmm. It's dumb.
Well, they know he has a family. You'd think they'd go look just to capture the family if they could use them for leverage.
Well, yeah. I was really, really worried that instead of Rollo being in that position of a trap, that they were going to use Lagertha.
Oh.
And if they had taken her and started torturing her, I mean, that would have been horrible. Mm-hmm. At least Rollo could probably handle a lot more. Not that Lagertha's not strong, but, I mean, it's
Rollo seems a little crazy. He laughed when they were going to torture him.
He is a little crazy. Yeah, so I was really glad that it wasn't her, but yeah, this crew is not the brightest if they didn't check around the back. That just seems logical.
Rollo almost had, just back to the torture, Rollo almost had a berserker kind of look to him in that moment.
Yeah.
That's what I thought of.
He's cuckoo.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so back to the escape. Mm-hmm. Ragnar got off the horse and had to keep going. What a great ruse. And hid down on the hill below the road. Mm-hmm. I really, really wanted them to pan over as he was hiding there, and you're watching the horses ride by, to pan over, and there are the hobbits hiding from the ring wraiths. Because it looked just like that scene. He was hiding in this little overhang of grass.
Phantom crossover.
Mm-hmm. I want that to happen. And everyone just going, oh, hey, hi.
Hey, can you guys help me out?
Mm-hmm. There were such little great touches, even though there were, some issues with the Earl in this episode. Mm-hmm. Just the smoke in the distance, with the village burning and the blood on the horse from Ragnar.
Yeah.
Just really great little touches there that I appreciated.
Yes, I would agree with that too. Really nice pieces.
Cohesion.
Well, and also that they give you this thought, this connection, but they don't have to talk about it. Like, hey, look at that smoke over there. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're getting more of the story without having to really go into it.
Mm-hmm. Get the contextual clues.
Yeah.
Show, don't tell.
Exactly.
How did you feel about Athelstan saving Ragnar from drowning? Were you surprised it was him and not Lagertha?
I actually was a little surprised that Lagertha didn't jump right in. I think that she considered it, that she was planning on it.
Mm-hmm. Be tough in a dress to swim.
Well, yeah, it would weigh her down quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe she just realized that Athelstan was going to, and that she thought maybe she could help from the boat. Mm-hmm. But, she seems like a woman of action. So I think even if she decided not to go over and help, just standing on the boat waiting for them to come up was killing her. Because she just wanted to do something to help. But I really like that Athelstan went after him, because I think that really shows, for one thing, that he's a good person, and we already knew that. I think he cares about all of them.
What you said about Lagertha and how it seemed to be driving her crazy to stay on the boat, I had that same feeling when they found out about Rollo being tortured, the way that she was staring at Ragnar, like, you're gonna do something about this, right? Just waiting for him to say he would.
Yeah. And I think that Ragnar was having that same, I need to leave right this minute.
Yeah.
I don't need to do any planning. I don't need to think ahead. I don't need any supplies. I must go right now. And I think that if Lagertha and the kids hadn't been there, he might have.
Yeah.
He might have just left. But maybe she gives him a little more pause for thought. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I could see that they both were like, this is not gonna work for us. We know it's a trap, but we're still gonna do something about it.
Yeah. We got another little shortcut of the Earl being really mad that someone else let Ragnar escape, like he didn't also let Ragnar escape just as much.
Yeah, he's stupid.
Yeah. Passing the buck.
Yeah.
We get to Floki's place. Were you excited to see Floki again? I know you've been back and forth about him.
And I still am. I'm on the fence about him. So I thought that he was a little like Crazy Eyes in the last couple of episodes, where he was killing the priest and he was sort of reveling in the thought of somebody being hurt or tortured or killed or whatever. I don't like that. And he's definitely a little off. But then in this episode, he's really such a caregiver. There's no questions asked. As soon as they come in, he starts to work. I mean, so you can see that Ragnar is important to him. You can see that Floki knows what he's doing. I mean, as much as you could know back then, where you just put a bunch of mud on an injury, whatever. But whatever it was, it worked. I mean, he knew what he was doing. And when he said, when Lagertha was worried about eating his winter stores and stuff, he was just like, whatever, it's no big deal. Mm-hmm. And that's a great person. I mean, to realize that this is something that these people who are in such a horrible position, that's what she's worried about. And for him to just dismiss it so she can worry about other things, I really liked him for that. I really liked how well he took care of the whole family. Even Athelstan.
Yeah.
Even though he was kind of snarky to him, he still fed him. He still put everybody up and it seemed like it was quite a while. I mean, weeks at least, right?
Yeah, well, it turns to winter.
Yeah, so it is a while. And it's usually, so Floki and like one or two women, right? Because that wasn't the same slave, right?
Oh, that was not a slave. No, that was Helga.
Okay, so there's Helga and then there's a slave.
We didn't see the slave here, but
right, but so Floki,
assume she's somewhere.
It's Floki and probably 2 women living in this place, right? Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, he adds Ragnar and Lagertha and the 2 kids. And he brings in 5 more people to his tiny little house and completely takes care of them. Yeah. Completely.
Plus that guy, the other guy that came too.
Right, for however long he stayed. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It made me like him a lot more. I really do keep going back and forth. I'm on the fence with Floki because I think he's a good person, but maybe he's just a good person to people that he cares about, and other people don't mean anything. So maybe that's where I'm at.
What do you think about Helga? Were you excited that Floki had a partner?
I was really kind of indifferent about Helga.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think she was a slave. I was pretty sure she wasn't because she wasn't the same character as before. So I didn't think he had 2 slaves. So then I was a little like, well, who is this person? Is this like a partner or like a temporary kind of love the one you're with sort of a? I don't know.
Floki's booty call.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure how to feel about her.
So the woman that plays Helga, her name is Maud, I can't remember her last name, Maud Hurst. Mm-hmm. She's the daughter of the writer of Vikings.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but her sister, Georgia Hurst, is also on Vikings at one point.
Oh, you have to tell me when that comes up.
Yeah, they don't play sisters or related in any way in the show. But it's interesting that he got 2 of his daughters cast.
Hey, I gotta tell you, if our dad was working on a TV show, I would be on that TV show. I wouldn't have a big part, but I'd totally at least be an extra.
I only dislike nepotism when it doesn't help me out.
Well, right. It's only appropriate when it benefits me. Otherwise, it's not.
Oh, so everyone prays. They're praying to Freya and to Mary. Mm-hmm. I love how they put the 2 religions next to each other so much in this show.
Yeah.
And show how similar they are in many ways. Mm-hmm. The way the women are the healers and, everyone looks to them.
Yes.
When times are tough and they have the gods will provide, which is very similar to Christian logic of God will make it work out for you.
Right.
That's really all I have to say about religion.
I liked listening to Lagertha talk, as usual.
Just about anything.
Just let her talk for a while.
I will say, her eyebrows are driving me crazy.
Oh, I didn't even notice her eyebrows.
Her
What's wrong with them?
very fake blonde eyebrows.
Oh.
Because I know that the actress does not look like that in real life.
Oh.
And it just makes her look very different.
Oh.
With the bleached eyebrows, in my opinion. Unless I'm wrong, and she just dyes her eyebrows when she's not on the show.
Okay.
That looks different.
But, is that better or worse than Daenerys Targaryen having white hair and dark brown eyebrows? Yeah. That drives me crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty jarring.
Yeah, it should be more natural than that.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Which is worse.
Win. No one can win.
Bleaching him's bad, not bleaching him is bad.
Mm-hmm. We meet the Swede, the very red-faced, drunken Swede.
Yep.
Who seems really happy that he's going to marry the Earl's daughter, even though at that point she has not said a word to him.
Yep.
Not even hello. Mm-mm. Also, if you have to call someone my dear child, you're too old to marry them.
Yeah, don't ever call your partner child. That's a problem.
Ew.
Yeah, exactly.
Siggy is livid.
Understandably.
Mm-hmm. He seems a little ashamed that he hasn't said anything.
I'm not a fan of Earl Drunk Swede at all. I'm not a fan of Earl Haraldson. Pretty much every Earl I've met, which is
terrible.
2, I hate. So, and his poor daughter.
Yeah.
She's so young.
Mm-hmm.
And that this is not totally unexpected because she doesn't throw a fit about it.
Well, she's probably just used to having to go along with whatever her father tells her.
Exactly. He's the Earl. What he says goes.
And she had such a tease when Rollo, she thought she was going to get to marry Rollo.
Which probably would have
a strapping,
been
handsome
better.
man.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what, though? He's not that great to women, so I don't know if that would have been better. Yeah, he's younger and better looking, but this guy might die, and then she could be the lady of his area, and
of his area?
I can't remember.
The lady of his area. That just sounds like a euphemism.
It does sound like a euphemism. That's not what I meant. The lady of his, it's not
territory.
Okay, territory.
Earldom. Oh no, it was a dukedom?
No, that's Eliza Lucklamora.
Oh.
But I mean, And she could remarry if he died, or... Well, I don't know, though, because I wonder... Because he is pretty old. I mean, relatively. So, has he been married before? Does he already have kids?
It's possible.
Because they would take over if he died.
Yeah.
We just don't have enough information about the Swede. Also, though, she's probably going to have to move really far away from her mom. Which is horrible.
Well, a lot of people move away from their parents.
Yeah, a lot of people choose to move away from their parents.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. She's going to be completely alone with a guy who's practically a stranger.
That's pretty normal for royalty.
Yeah, it's sad. Well, but royalty, at least you get to, like, take your ladies or whatever. I wonder if she can take anyone with her.
Probably her slaves.
Yeah. I am concerned about her.
I wondered if virginity was a big deal in this case for Vikings, because there's a lot about sex.
Yeah.
There are lots of threesomes. There's a lot going on with sexuality. You know, Bjorn is comfortable with his parents having sex, all that sort of thing.
Right.
So I wonder if virginity is not a big deal like it is in Christian culture.
I think it probably still is.
Yeah.
Because I think it always is, no matter what the culture. That's something...
Well, for paternity.
Well, yeah, and then also because women are commodities a lot, and that is an unstained, you know, I don't know how you'd phrase it, but you know, an earl who is pretty much paying for this bride.
Yeah, how much silver she's worth. I hated that scene. Like basically, she's just being bought.
Yeah, and he wants to have his money's worth. You know, he wants I don't know what else to say besides just a virgin. He wants a virgin. Which is disgusting. He's disgusting. I hate him. And also, he shows up and he's just all excited and acting like he can't even tell that she is so upset by what is being told to her is going to happen to her.
Yeah.
And he's just like, no, I mean, that's how it works. It'll be fine. You'll just get over it.
And you won't regret it, he says.
I'm going to guess she already did as soon as he showed up. But she had no choice. There was no choice for her at all. Sad.
Do you have any theories on who killed the Earl's sons? He doesn't seem to know.
Actually, no. And, you know, I haven't really thought of that until you said it. But who are his enemies?
He seems to have a lot, or thinks he has a lot.
Well, I think he does think he has a lot, but I haven't seen any evidence of that. I mean, besides Ragnar. But, it has to be a neighboring
territory,
earldom,
area, town.
Earldom? No, that's
Sure.
not either. We should vocabulary lesson before we do this.
I think earldom sounds right.
Yeah, I think just the surrounding territories probably. I guess maybe without knowing this for sure, if you come in and you take over, you know, you kill an earl or whatever, do you get to have his territory also? Are you the earl of both?
I think so.
So it must be somebody that wants his land, I guess. But I would guess it's another earl. But I don't know. Maybe he did something to somebody else and made him so mad that was their revenge.
Maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess probably at some point we'll find out, but I don't know what it is.
So let's get back to Floki. It's winter time. The strange man emerges from the forest and scares Bjorn.
Yes, you would scare me
Looks at
too.
him. Yeah. Because, he knows they're in a dangerous place with Ragnar hiding.
Yeah.
And then they go inside, and for a second they had Floki at the fire. He looks just like Joseph Fiennes.
Oh, he did look like him.
Really
You're right.
did.
Yeah.
But Ragnar's still alive. Were you excited that he was alive? I mean, you knew he hadn't died.
Yeah,
so.
I wasn't surprised that he was alive, but I was surprised that he was still recovering.
But he still had a sense of humor.
I wasn't surprised about that either, because that's very much his personality. But I could also really understand, I wasn't surprised with his frustration about not being healed. He really was tired of being a patient.
Yeah.
He was impatient with his patient status.
Oh, terrible.
I know, it was so bad, but I had to. Yeah, I mean, he really wanted to get up and get moving, and they kept saying, don't do it, which is so true. If you don't let yourself heal, it takes twice as long once you mess up.
Apparently no one in Kattegat knows where Floki lives, because they're following all the other people that had gone on the ship, but not the ship maker.
Yeah.
Seems like that'd be an obvious place to start.
I agree. And how did the other guy find him?
Yeah, he must just know.
Somebody,
he must have been there before.
Somebody knows where this guy lives, but apparently not a lot of people, or they're really good at just not going there. I guess. Resisting the urge to check on Ragnar, maybe.
It's weird to compare that to now, where it's so easy to find out where people live, and you can't just not have an address and live in the forest.
Well, actually some people do, but it's a very, very small percentage of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely now you can find anybody.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a big fan of, actually.
Yeah, that's true. It'd be nice
I mean, I am when I'm looking for someone, I like it to be easy to find them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't like everybody being so accessible.
Yeah.
But Floki is not. He's like in the side of a hill or something.
Yeah.
Also, when the other guy showed up, I was half expecting Rollo to show up.
Ah.
I thought he was going to come check on Ragnar. And I really couldn't tell I didn't think that he thought Ragnar was actually dead. But if he never went and checked with Floki, then I think he probably isn't sure what Ragnar's status is.
Well, he knows that he's being followed, and that would be so easy to find Ragnar if he is alive.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's driving him crazy not being able to check on him.
Mm-hmm.
So
at least we like to think so.
All right, well, he's probably more worried about Lagertha, but whatever. I mean, and that's the thing, like, I know that he has love for Ragnar. I really think he does, and loyalty, but I think he just, he's in love with Lagertha, and I don't like it.
Yeah. So the new guy is flirting with Helga.
Yes.
Which was fun, especially when Floki said that she's taken.
Yeah.
And everyone around the house.
Yeah.
Just kind of laughed. But apparently that doesn't stop them, because later
it's fine.
Yeah, he gets invited into bed with all of them.
Yeah, earlier it wasn't fine, but then later it is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Some mixed signals.
I love that the women, at least some of the women, seem to get what they want as far as that goes.
Yeah, I like that. I like, especially in a show like this, with the scenes that we've already had, that there are women that are making the decisions for their own bodies. I know that sounds like super feminist, but I mean, that's what
reasonable.
It is. I mean, that they're saying, yes, I want to do this. This is how I want it to happen. Because I think a lot of women in that sort of time didn't get those choices. So I like that we're seeing women that have power.
And I appreciate that the men that they're with totally support it and are the ones that go and make the request.
Yes, so much.
In our two
really
cases,
like
that's
that.
what's happened for both of them.
Yes, I like that. At least we get some of that to sort of counter the other stuff.
So we get to the wedding, and Rollo is a wedding crasher.
Of course he is.
Rollo crashes the wedding and wants to talk to the Earl. Were you worried there was more betrayal happening, or some betrayal?
I don't know what to think of Rollo. I don't know. I don't know. Because every time it looks like he's going to cross a line, change his loyalties, he doesn't, but it still always seems like he's going to. So I just never know. I'm always surprised.
Yeah, he is a hard one to pin down.
He really is. But the thing is, though, too, that drives me crazy is that he has been loyal to Ragnar all the way up until this point. Mm-hmm. Even though he's had all these opportunities, he keeps choosing the right thing, but I'm still worried about him.
I still don't trust him.
Exactly.
Even though he keeps showing that he is apparently trustworthy, he's so sneaky about it.
He's so Snapey. Mm-hmm. He's very much like Snape. Mm-hmm. Like, he keeps doing the right thing, but you still have this nagging feeling that at any point he could switch.
Well, and it seems like he keeps doing the right thing, but it's often for the wrong reason. Like,
yes.
He saved Ragnar because of Lagertha.
Right, exactly. Which to him was the right reason. Mm-hmm. And I guess we just have to try to remember that his motivation is not the same as Ragnar's. It's something else, and we don't even really know him that well.
Yeah, it's not brotherly love that seems to motivate him.
No. I mean, he seems like a pretty selfish person. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know.
It is weird to compare him to Snape, but that makes sense.
Yeah, his loyalty is always in question, I guess. Not that he isn't loyal. He is loyal, but I think he's just loyal to himself.
Well, he seems loyal to the person that we don't know about, or that not everyone knows about.
Yeah.
Snape was loyal to Lily, but we didn't know that until the end.
Yeah, so with him, there's something there that we suspect is Lagertha, but there has to be more to it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I was glad that he crashed the wedding because it made the Earl mad, and I am all for anything that makes him mad because I hate him. I hate him more than Rollo, and, back in the beginning, Rollo was at the top of my list of people I hate, but he's dropped down.
He made that 0.5% from before, I remember. Where's he at now as far as your redeeming
I still don't
percentage?
like him. I still don't like him.
Yeah.
Because he's a raper. And
yeah,
I just have a hard time getting over that. And like I said before, he could do a lot of good things and still be a bad person. And I'm kind of still there.
I have such a hard time keeping up with Rollo's opinions on how women should be treated. Mm-hmm. So if you just did it as far as free woman versus slave woman,
Yeah.
it makes sense.
Yes.
Because he didn't, see the slave as a real person, I guess.
Right.
And so consent in that case didn't matter. If you look at Siggy, he kissed her and then she backed away and he said, "Oh, I was sure."
Right.
And, he immediately stopped. And so it seems clear until you then think of Lagertha, who he is so all over. And it seems like if she gave the slightest hint, he would be all over it.
Yeah.
But I feel like he would take advantage of her if she were incapacitated in some way.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so that, that ruins the free versus slave.
Yeah, he's just slimy.
Yeah, I can't seem to, like I said before, I just can't pin him down
Yeah.
as far as where his lines are.
I think it's whatever mood he is in. I mean, he's just... Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it because I totally agree with you. I cannot pin him down. Mm-hmm. He's so wishy-washy. He's just... Mm-mm.
I don't think he's wishy-washy. I think he's very, very sure of what he wants.
But okay, wishy-washy, I guess, it's a case-by-case basis on how he treats women, I guess is what I meant. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's some sort of motivation behind that we don't know about. He has some line somewhere in his own mind, but I sure don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As much as Ragnar is interesting to watch, Rollo is a very complex character at this point.
Yeah. And you know what else? Here's another thing. I think that part of the reason that he acts the way he does, or at least gets to act the way he does, is because he's good looking.
Oh, yeah.
I think he gets away with a lot more and gets more of what he wants without struggle because of the way he looks.
I agree.
Because if he was ugly, and that's just the way humans are, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think him being good looking affords him a lot of liberties.
I agree. I appreciated that Rollo is showing how intelligent he was. He managed to get around swearing on his arm ring.
Yes.
Just by saying, "Of course I can't. I don't know. I've heard."
Yeah, that was pretty smart.
And then he has told the Earl he doesn't ever tell lies as he's speaking a lie, saying that he had told the truth at the trial.
Right.
I mean, he's just layers on layers. Rollo is an onion.
You could never trust anything he says at face value.
Mm-hmm. He reminds me of the stories where fairies exist, where they can't speak a lie, but they are so slimy and can get around the truth.
Yeah.
Just by tricks of the way that they speak.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
He's that way. He would make an excellent fairy.
He is, yes. He's very sneaky.
Yeah, he wouldn't have to ever worry about people not believing him, but he would be right on the edge all the time, just twisting the truth enough.
And also,
not to be a lie.
Also, people are more likely to trust the word of an attractive person.
That seems true.
I think that is true. I think, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I think that...
You're an attractive person scientist?
I just talk to attractive people all day long. But I think that people are more willing to believe a lie by somebody that is attractive than somebody that's not attractive.
Well, I think some reason sometimes people believe lies, even if they seem obvious, is because they want that person's approval, and you often want someone who's attractive's approval more than just someone that you don't necessarily want anything from.
Yeah.
But if you want a relationship with that attractive person, then... That's
true.
Yeah.
And what's weird to me is that the Earl even confronted him and asked him these questions. Did you really think he was going to tell you the truth? I mean, did he really think that?
I don't know.
It just seemed like a waste of time. Mm-hmm. Did he think maybe he was going to give something away accidentally? He should know Rollo better than that, just based on the stuff that he did with him before.
Mm-hmm. Though I still think that Rollo had planned to betray Ragnar and get what he wanted from the Earl until Lagertha came into the picture.
It makes me really sad that it was okay that Ragnar was going to die. Mm-hmm. Because that's what the punishment was. And Rollo knew that.
That would have left Lagertha open to marry.
Yeah, but it's his brother.
Yep. Oh, do you think that if something happened to Ragnar that that Lagertha would marry Rollo?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, she doesn't seem... She certainly doesn't want him to come onto her like he does.
But it's because she's married. Mm-hmm. Which could be. I don't know. I think he might try really hard to wear her down. Mm-hmm. I don't think he would take her with force. I think he would try really hard to wear her down until she said yes. And if Ragnar died, I think she would be in a pretty delicate, emotional place. So she might go for that because because it's obvious that she really, really loves Ragnar. I mean, and, to lose him, I think she'd have a hard time getting through that. And of course, Rollo would be the sympathetic brother and, let me help you, let me take care of you. And, she might go for it.
I can imagine that whole scene.
Yeah, totally. I mean, she could go for it. So let's not let that happen, okay?
Don't kill Ragnar.
Let's keep Ragnar alive.
Oh, so Rollo and Siggy have some eye sex there for a minute.
They do.
Did you expect anything like that? I remember from maybe even the pilot, just one of the first couple of episodes, they kind of looked at each other in that same way, but not quite as obvious.
They have been making some eyes, yeah. For me, I wasn't super duper surprised that there was this attraction and this kissing, but I feel like I didn't get enough clarification about at what point in their relationship this was.
Okay.
Have they kissed before? I think maybe, but I don't think it's gone further than that before. So, but we didn't really get any more context. So I don't know where this was at.
He seemed awfully surprised to find her.
Yeah.
When she went to warn him later.
So maybe it is the first time, but maybe the googly eyes made it seem like something had been going on. Maybe not physical, but maybe just a lot of flirtation.
It was interesting when in the episode when he was basically offered the daughter, that he seemed interested until he caught sight of Siggy.
Yeah.
And then they had that look.
So, okay, so here's the thing too, though. Are we supposed to think that he and Siggy, have often had conversations?
I don't think so.
So what is making him more attracted to Siggy than Theory?
Maybe just the way she looks.
I guess. But I mean, she's so unavailable. It just seems stupid.
So is Lagertha.
Right, but Theory's
Maybe
not.
Maybe that's his shtick.
I guess.
Maybe he likes unavailable women.
I guess.
And, the most unavailable women.
Right.
Not just your brother's wife, but the Earl's wife.
The forbidden women. I mean, fully. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Not just married, but married to people that you do not want to cross.
Right. That's really dangerous. Because the Earl already is mad at him.
Oh, maybe it's part of his whole kind of berserker vibe.
Maybe that's what gets him going.
Where it's just, it excites him. It's an adrenaline rush for him.
Yeah. He's like a sadist-ish. I don't know.
He just likes the thrill. I mean, when he was hitting on Lagertha, Ragnar was right outside.
Yes. He does not have a healthy emotional state, I don't think. Maybe there's something in his history that would explain this sort of drive to go after unavailable. Yeah, I don't know.
So we get back to Floki's, and they're all sitting around talking about Valhalla, and I really enjoyed that conversation. The way that they each had the little storytelling time.
Yeah.
Floki and Helga, talking about, I love the description of Valhalla. All the roof is made of shields, the walls are made of spears, and then 500 doors, all these different wings. It was all very interesting. It sounded very pretty.
Yeah. And where does that come from?
Valhalla?
I mean,
what do you mean?
I mean, so everybody knows the story. Everybody knows, but where did it start? 500 doors. That's really specific. You know what I mean? I wonder what the sort of root of these stories is.
Yeah, I didn't look it up. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
See if I can find it. And it could also be that the descriptions that they had, since they don't have, a Bible with things written down specifically like that not everyone has the whole story.
That's true. Or it could have slight variations. Yeah. Maybe some places it's only 420 doors. Maybe. I don't know.
I also didn't do the math, but it was, 800 soldiers out of each door?
That's a lot.
That's a lot of people. So we get near the end. Rollo gets warned by Siggy after they kiss, and then they kiss again, which seems dangerous for both of them. Even with the threat of torture, when he gets captured, he just laughs maniacally.
Yeah.
Oh, how much did you love when Siggy came in and he was lying on the table and she looked worried, and then the Earl saw her looking and she just kind of looked away like, oh, it's nothing. I'm just not staring at his half-naked body.
Yeah, so the Earl looks at him and he sort of tilts his head.
Yeah.
What's happening here? I love the head tilt.
Yeah, it seemed a little overdone, but it was a comedic moment for me.
Yeah, because you know why I liked it? Because the Earl was like, I don't understand what's going on. And I was like, good. Because I hate you. Which I might have mentioned before. Oh, and then she just stood there while he got tortured.
Yeah.
Why would you not leave?
I don't know.
What a horrible thing to watch.
Maybe she just wanted to make sure he wasn't gonna die. I don't know.
Would her being there have mattered?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
But I guess the Earl didn't plan on killing him anyway. Because
That's true.
that would ruin the trap.
Exactly.
Ragnar still healing and mocking Bjorn. I loved the... You must have patience, father. Shut up. Part.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too. And what I liked about it is, even though it sounded really rude, Bjorn, I don't think was offended, because I think this is typical banter for them. So I was happy about that.
So we find out about Rollo. It's a trap. And actually, though it was obvious to you and everyone in the room, it wasn't obvious to me at first that it was a trap, and I'm glad that they said it out loud.
Oh, really? Oh.
It hadn't occurred to me.
Yeah.
When I first saw this episode, I was like, this is terrible, not realizing, of course, this is how they get Ragnar there.
Yep, the Earl wants Ragnar. That was the best way to pull him out of hiding, for sure.
I mean, I figured he was just gonna do it to try to find out where Ragnar was, not to get Ragnar to come to him.
Yeah, and I think that in, like at the wedding and stuff, that probably was sort of the direction, but I think that he realized he wasn't gonna get it out of Rollo. Mm-hmm. So.
And Rollo was gonna challenge the Earl to a duel.
Rollo is gonna challenge him to a duel?
And Ragnar is gonna challenge the Earl to a duel.
Yes. Through Floki.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think about the duel? What is it gonna be? Who's gonna win? What's gonna happen?
Okay, I have a couple of thoughts.
Okay.
One, I would be terrified if I was Floki. Like, you've heard the whole kill the messenger thing, right? Mm-hmm. That sounds very scary. Also, I think that if you're talking about challenging the Earl, he's going to have a second and a third and a fourth. I just can't see Ragnar getting out of this alive, even if he did kill the Earl.
A duel doesn't work that way, though. It seems like you're thinking that if he kills him, someone else will take over, but that if you kill someone, you win.
Yeah, but you don't think that somebody else would go after him for killing the Earl?
Probably.
And it also, I guess, depends on who's there also, because somebody else might say, well, I didn't like the Earl either, so let's just let Ragnar take over. I just feel like there are going to be enough people there that they're going to go after him, because he has no army, and the Earl does. And I think the Earl's probably kind of a chicken. Like, I mean, how often is he really fighting? He just sat on his horse and watched his army do it. Is he practicing? Probably not.
I don't think he's fought in a very long time.
But what do you do when somebody challenges you to a duel and you don't want to fight him? Well, if you're the Earl, maybe you just say no. I don't know. I don't know what the dueling rules are for this sort of for the Viking era.
Well, Ragnar said that Ragnar told Floki to tell him that if he didn't accept the duel, he wouldn't be let into Valhalla.
Yeah, but just because you say
it's true,
you're not going to be let into Valhalla, that doesn't mean the Earl's going to be like, oh, good point.
Well, it makes sense, though. If he's going to be cowardly and doesn't accept a duel, then...
I guess. I'm not sure about that. I actually, if you're going to ask me for predictions about how that's going to go, I'm going to tell you right now, I have no idea. I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that happens to me a lot with this show. It'll get to the end, and you'll be like, so what do you think's going to happen next time? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It could go many directions. Mm-hmm. And that's actually something I really like about this show, is that
unpredictability.
I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea how the rest of the season's going to play out. I don't know where they're going to be at the end of the season. I really don't. It's not at all predictable to me.
That's good.
Maybe I'm a dummy. Maybe it's really predictable to other people, but not me. And you know what? That's fine. If I'm going to be a dummy, then more entertainment for me.
We can all laugh at you.
Yay! Let's laugh at Rosanna. She's such a dum-dum.
All right. So next week we're going to talk about season 1, episode 6, called Burial of the Dead.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I feel like maybe some people are going to die, and they're probably going to have to be buried. I know, I can't help it. I'm so sarcastic.
Yeah, thanks.
I don't know who the dead people are that they're going to bury. Is it going to have to do with the people that died in this episode? Are new people going to die in the next episode, and that's who's going to be buried?
Well, they tricked you with this episode's title, called Raid.
Yeah, it was the raid on Ragnar's village.
Mm-hmm, and not a raid somewhere else.
Yeah, it wasn't
like
a real
expected.
raid. Yeah, not at all. So I don't know what kind of trick the burial of the dead could be. It seems pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, it's time for Rosanna's top 3. What's your category?
This week I'm going to talk about the top 3 times Earl Haraldson pissed me off.
Okay, what are they?
Number 1, attacking Ragnar's village, killing innocent people, and burning down Ragnar's house.
Yeah, that was pretty harsh.
That's all number 1 of the times. These people are just like living their lives. They're taking care of their cattle. They're taking care of their families and their crops or whatever. And they just come in and they just start cutting them up with axes.
Mm-hmm. Well, we find out that, unlike we previously thought, not every Viking knows how to fight.
Exactly. And also, how the heck is killing those people gonna get to Ragnar? I mean, I can see it making Ragnar feel guilty that they died because of his actions, but you're killing your people.
Mm-hmm.
These are your people you're killing. What kind of a message are you sending to the rest of your people? You're not sending that I'm taking care of you at all. And just, I mean, these people were just working in their fields and their gardens and stuff, and they're just chopping them up.
Yeah, and they kill up the livestock, too.
That's a horrible thing to do. And I understand why he burned down Ragnar's house, so he wouldn't have a place to go back to, but a couple things there. 1, rude. Okay, what did Ragnar's family do to you? Mm-hmm. And 2, if he didn't burn down his house, don't you think he'd be easy to find later? He might go back to
That's an excellent point.
But you burned it down. That was the only place that you could have thought to go, because obviously now he's somewhere that you can't find him. So... Mm-hmm. Earl, stupid. Number 2, obviously, marrying Theory to Earl Drunk Swede. Or Earl Bjarni, I guess. Gross, terrible, disgusting, atrocious. Just every bad word is how I felt about this. This poor girl. And I guess she probably had to have known at some point she was going to be married to somebody that she had no choice about. Mm-hmm. But to not even tell her before he shows up?
Yeah.
Not to give her any warning. Not to give her mother any warning.
Well, then no one could fight because it was already a done deal.
Well, I guess. Still pissed me off.
It's okay, ladies. The men have figured it out.
Well, yeah, that's exactly what it was like.
Yeah.
And then number 3, even though I'm not a fan of Rollo, the torturing of him made me really upset. The noises. It was yeah, it was bad. That made me mad at the Earl also.
Sounded like he gave him a Joker face.
That's exactly what I thought.
Want to know how I got these scars?
And you know what I'm so mad about? They didn't show it. I mean, I didn't want to see it happening, but I wanted to see, and I wanted to know what was actually happening.
You did?
I mean,
I did not want to see that. It was the gurgling. Like, ugh.
Obviously, we're going to see Rollo's face again, so we'll see what happens. But, I mean, is it like a Joker, sort of, one side to the other? Did he only do one side? Did he cut all the way into the cheek?
Oh, God.
Did he cut off his lips? I'm not sure where that went. So it was gross and also left me like these questions.
So maybe he won't be as pretty as he has been.
Oh, I don't know. Some girls really dig scars. So, not that it really matters because he doesn't care if you dig him or not. Hey. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's fair.
Thank you. So, those were the 3 times, I would just say the entire episode, that Earl Haraldson pissed me off.
Are you happy then that he is going to duel Ragnar? Or that might duel Ragnar?
If it comes down to actually literally the 2 of them dueling, yes, I am happy about it. Okay. Because if there's a chance that Ragnar gets to go one-on-one with him, I have no doubt he'll kill him. And that would make my day. Because I hate that guy.
Well, that would make Ragnar Earl though, right?
Yes, which I don't think is what he wants. So I'm not sure. Maybe he could appoint somebody to be Earl for him.
Like Rollo, he would love it.
And actually, I don't like Rollo, but he'd be better at it than Ragnar.
Probably.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think either one would be super great because they don't want to stay there. They like going on raids. They like going to other places. They would need somebody that is more content to stay in that area and rule. And even though Rollo would really like the power, I think he'd get antsy.
I'm not sure that Earls don't go on raids, though. I mean, obviously this Earl doesn't.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe some of them do. Maybe when they're still younger. Maybe they just stop going when they get older. Though, I don't know. Eric was getting up there, wasn't he? I mean, he wasn't super young, and he kept going, and he was awesome at it.
I miss Eric. He was there for such a short time, but I really liked him.
I really liked him a lot. He should have been Earl.
You know nothing about him except that we like his personality.
Vote for Eric! Eric for Earl! Yeah, at this point, I think a lot of people would be better than Haraldson, so...
What if Siggy took over?
I'd probably support that. Though now I'm worried that since the Swede is married to Theory, if Haraldson dies, would he take that land? Because
I'm not sure.
if Theory's the Earl's only child at this point, would it go to her? It seems like it should. Because isn't that why, like in royalty, the daughters marry princes from other countries so the prince can control both countries? Or king?
Sometimes it really depends.
Interesting. I'm not sure where that
It often depends on the bloodline of the prince in this situation.
Well, I hope that we get to find out, because that means the Earl's dead. So,
like the Queen of England, Prince Philip, he's basically he's Queen's consort. He's not a king,
right?
And that's because of his lineage.
It is. Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know that much.
He's not royalty,
right?
But it may be because it's her line.
Well, but if Princess Diana had stayed married to Prince Charles, wouldn't she have eventually been queen?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Well, and also, so Prince William, is it Prince William? No. Yeah, William and Harry.
Yeah.
Those are the brothers. And William is married to Kate Middleton. She is not a princess. She's the Duchess of Cambridge. So does that mean that she won't be queen when William's king?
I think that it might be one of those things where have you watched the Queen Elizabeth's Netflix show?
No.
Okay,
wait,
so there's a whole thing.
It's the one with Matt Smith?
Yeah,
I've seen like 2 episodes.
So there's the whole thing with the queens.
Because Matt Smith's character could never be king. He was just married to the queen.
So the queens, they're her old queens, but they're not the queens anymore because their husbands are dead.
Oh.
Yeah. They're, old, but the new queen is taken over and I think it's the line that matters. Because Queen Elizabeth, so she is the queen because she's straight from her father's line.
Okay.
Her mother is not, because she was not in that royal line.
Okay.
Her mother didn't get to stay queen. So Queen Elizabeth is always queen forever until she dies.
So would Kate Middleton be queen until William dies? And then it
Basically,
would move on to their children?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, that kind of makes sense, too. Like, did you ever watch Reign?
Some of it.
And I didn't watch a lot of it, but the woman that's in it that plays Anne of Green Gables, Maureen something, she was the queen until her husband died.
Yeah.
And then she wasn't the queen anymore.
Yeah, it's all about the line.
She's queen mother or something. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. But yeah, I think you're right. And I still don't know what that means for Vikings and their territories. Yeah,
I think it could also be very different.
Yeah.
So do you have any predictions for what's going to happen?
Like I said before, no, I have nothing. I'm actually really eager to watch this next episode. I'm probably going to watch it as soon as we're done recording. I want to see what happened to Rollo. I want to see this whole duel. I hope they don't drag it out to where it's like, I'm going to duel you in 6 weeks. I want to know now.
And then there's a training montage with the Earl.
Yeah, I don't have any predictions because I really don't know what's going to happen, but I'm very eager to see.
I'm going to give you one spoiler.
Yay! Okay.
We see Rollo in the next episode.
Okay.
And he's gotten his hands on some face paint. And he wants people to start calling him the Joker.
That's really rude, Nikki. I was super excited about the spoilers.
You sounded excited.
Yep. And now I just feel like I got punked.
I am never giving you a spoiler.
I thought that was weird that you were going to...
Have you met me?
Well, and then so then you're like, he's gotten his hands on some face paint. And I immediately went to like Braveheart. Like, I went full Scottish face paint. So I didn't know where you're going with that. And that's really mean.
I know. I couldn't help it.
You got me. Good job. It's terrible.
My cheek this week is because the Vikings go in the ocean, and in the depths of the ocean, very, very tangential, in the depths of the ocean you might find Cthulhu, the elder god.
Okay.
And I have Cthulhu slippers that I really love. It's a stretch, but it's awesome. Oh, they're so awesome.
You definitely need to post a picture of those.
Oh, they're great. I love them so much. I got them for my birthday last year. If you don't know who Cthulhu is, it is this basically deep sea creature. He's very powerful. He wants to destroy all of humanity. You've probably seen pictures of him. You don't realize it. He's from an H.P. Lovecraft story.
Oh.
He's very terrifying, but he basically just wants all humanity to die.
I didn't know it was from Lovecraft.
Yeah. So I saw a really funny poster during election season that said, it was Cthulhu, and it said, "Why pick the lesser of two evils? Choose the most evil. Vote Cthulhu."
That's funny.
So it's these big, really plush Cthulhu slippers. They're dark green, and you can see all the kind of tentacles that go over his mouth, and they come down over your foot. They're big and cozy, and I love them, and they're wonderful. And you should buy them because they're great. What's your cheek, Rosanna?
My cheek of the week is not at all related to Vikings, except that it's a TV
like
show.
Mine?
Yeah, yours was very closely related.
Oh, yeah.
So, my cheek of the week is about a book/TV show. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've heard of it. I think you and I have talked about this book, actually. I listened to the audiobook. It was a recommendation from Audible. It's called Big Little Lies. Mm-hmm. And it's been made into an HBO series.
I heard about that.
Yeah, the finale is on tonight. I think it's 8 episodes. And the TV series has Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, Shailene Woodley, Alexander Skarsgård, Laura Dern, Adam Scott, and Zoe Kravitz.
A Viking, Skarsgård. It's kind of Viking-like.
Yes, sure. Okay. Yes, that's where the connection is. I totally was going to go with that.
Right on.
So I read the book. I think the book's a couple of years old. I read... when I say read, I mean listen to. I listened to it earlier this year. I really liked it. And then HBO started the show, and I didn't, even though it's literally the exact same title, I didn't connect it until recently. And so I marathoned all of the episodes that are out in the last few days. And then so I'm going to watch the finale tonight. But it's a kind of book that I don't usually read mysteries. That's not really my genre. But this is about 3 women. One of them is a young woman who moves in the book, it's in Australia. But in the show, it's in California. So she moves to Monterey, and she's got a young child, and she meets these 2 other women who have children in the same class at the same school. And it's the sort of relationship between the 3 women, and they all have secrets and that kind of thing. But the story is told sort of backwards, and then alternately you get little bits of the present, but most of the story is in the past. And what happens is, at some school event, one of the parents, it's like a fundraiser, one of the parents dies. And it's being investigated as a murder. And the entire show, you don't know who ends up dying at the end. And so you get all of this information about all of these characters and stuff, but you don't know until the end who died and why they're considering it a murder and who the murderer is. And it's a really interesting, engaging story. So I really liked the book. And then I started watching the show, and I'm a big Reese Witherspoon fan. And I like Shailene Woodley also. Nicole Kidman, I'm sort of on the fence about. I only like her in some stuff. But she does a pretty good job in this. Pretty good. Zoe Kravitz is kind of this like hippy-dippy yoga sort of character, which I think fits her really well.
Yeah.
And of course, Alexander Skarsgård is just, so
he's just pretty.
He's just very attractive. And his character is the one that's married to Nicole Kidman's character. So of course they're like this perfectly beautiful couple. And so it's got like this whole like snotty rich people kind of feel to it. But this newcomer, Jane, she's young. She doesn't have money. But she happens to be in the same area, so they all go to the same school. The kids all go to the same school. And so, yeah, it's a good mystery, and it's a really good show. I've very much enjoyed the show, and it is in typical HBO fashion. There's nudity, bad language, sex, all that kind of stuff.
That is my kind of show.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, if you're looking for a book, and even though it's about a murder mystery, it's not too heavy. It's got some deep sort of storylines, but it's not something that you're going to like be emotionally moved by. But it's enjoyable. And then, of course, I would recommend the show to anybody that's looking for a show to watch. It's pretty well done. And of course, they're in California, so it's beautiful. Everybody's house opens to the ocean. So
that is not how California was when we lived there.
No, well, we lived in the middle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that is my cheek of the week. I recommend that if you're looking for something Listeners, you can find all our Cheeks of the Week and send us your questions on our website, somethingcheekypodcast.com.
That's our episode. Please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. It's really helpful. You can follow us on Twitter at @somecheek.
And you can check out our other podcast, which we mention every once in a while on this one, where we talk about the book The Lies of Loch Lamora by Scott Lynch.
There's a lot of comparison between Lagertha and a character in that book as well.
There is.
Ooh, it's also awesome.
And it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Dig-a-da-dum, dig-a-da-da-da-dum.